supply for you today, and we're going to do a balance pattern. So in here we have an Umpqua U555 jig hook. This happens to be a size 12, and then we're also going to be using one of these Dritz sewing pins. I've got one and I've already cut it down to the size that I like for this size of fly to make it balanced. So we're going to get started with just some regular black thread and just coat this part right here in the very front. Let's trim this nonsense off. And then on the sewing pin, I like to use a red bead, and then I'm using a black bead for weight. So what I've done first is I put a red glass bead on first, and then put a black firehole stone in a 4mm in a black. These firehole stones are pretty sweet with their matted color. That really makes it pretty easy to, or much dull and pretty realistic. I really like it. So we're going to go and attach the pin to where the back of the bead is almost where the eye of the hook is. So we're going to lash this down pretty good. And if I was doing this usually just for me, I'll stage tie this, where I'll tie a whole bunch of these just like this, and then I'll work on them piece by piece just to make it a little bit easier for me. We'll just move our thread all the way back here to the back. And then one of the things I like to do is use a little bit of, if I can find it, goodness, there it is, a little bit of just some super glue, just to kind of reinforce this tie-in point here on the front. So I just put just a little dab on there. You can see why I would want to stage tie this one to give that plenty of time to dry. So we'll just get that to dry a little bit more, and then this fly outside of this, probably the most complicated part of the fly right here is just doing this. But it's super easy now. All we have to do is we're going to make a dubbing loop. So we're going to take our loon dubbing twister, and we're going to make a little loop back here in the back. We'll go around and around and around, then around the back and over and around the back and over. Kind of really just want to keep that there. And then we're going to move our thread up farther and just come up all the way up to the very front. So we're probably going to end up doing 2 of these. So what we're going to use is we're going to use some ice dub. I've got this ice dub in a whole bunch of different colors. So for this one, we're just going to do a chartreuse colored one just because they're fun and I like the way they look. So we're going to get them, we're going to get our ice dub, and we're kind of just going to try to get all our fibers going in the same direction. And then as we get it going, we'll put it in our dubbing loop here and put some in here. We'll do a little bit more, and we'll do it again. Make it a little bit longer, so something kind of like this. Dubbing our ice dub in our dubbing loop, and all we're going to sit here and do is just twist it so it gets nice and tight. With this loon bobbin, or this loon dubbing twister, I usually just let it hang and just spin it till it gets nice and tight, so we get a rope kind of like this. And then we'll come in with our Velcro brush and we'll kind of just pick it out. And we'll continue just to pick at this to kind of get the fibers to come out and point, not necessarily in any direction, we can change that in a minute, but that way the fibers are out. So then what I end up doing is we just wrap this forward, and as we start, we'll grab these fibers and we'll just get them to go backwards. We'll pull them backwards as we're wrapping forward, and as we get closer to the front, I think I may have to put some more chartreuse in here. I don't know if I'm going to have enough. Oh, I think that'll be fine. So what we end up doing is we get up here closer, and we'll tie off our, on that side, we'll tie this off here, and then we're going to make another dubbing loop. So we're going to have 2 of them that we used here. We're going to use two different colors of ice dub to really get this going. So we've got our first one done, and we're going to make a second one. This one doesn't have to be near as big, so not covering near as much. And then just work our way up right behind that bead. So the color we're going to use this time is we're going to use some peacock colored, this stuff right here, to make the head just a little bit darker. We'll get that in here. Let's put our dubbing twister back on there before we forget. Can't get the dubbing extra out of here. I had to open the whole box. Let's get some more. Shove it in here. And a little bit more than that. Get that to go in there. And there we go. I think that'll be plenty. Alright, then we'll just let it hang and we'll twist it up. There. Now we're starting to get our rope again. And we'll grab our brush. We'll brush the stuff back out again. Just pick at it a little bit. There we go. And then we'll continue with our wraps. Working our way forward and pulling that stuff back and really getting this right behind the bead. We'll seat those two beads in place. So we'll tie off our dubbing loop and we are almost finished. Another one of those simple flies. You haven't noticed, kind of like simple flies. Sometimes I like to have those complicated flies that take 20 minutes just because they're fun, but they take up a lot of time. And it sucks when you lose them. So we're just going to come in here and tie this down nice and good right behind the bead. Crap, I broke my thread. I tend to do that way too much. That's why I really like working with that GSP thread, but I didn't want to change from white to deal with it, so I was being lazy. So I had to start my thread back again. There we go. There. What's great is when that does happen, you can just go right back over the top of your previous wraps. And then we'll grab our, there it is. There's that black one. And then there's our other black one sticking up right there when we broke it. There. And then all we're going to do is we'll whip finish. Our thread, and there, we are almost finished. So there it is, and we'll just come back in. Let's pick all the stuff back off our Velcro brush. And then we're just going to come back in and pull all this out. And it'll come back this way. And there it is, just a balanced ice dubbing minnow, or leech. Like I said, this is another one of my favorites. So one thing I like to do at the very end is I'll take it out of the vise, and then I just got this extra spool of tippet sitting here, and I'll run my tippet through the eye of the hook. Oh, if I can find the eye of the hook. There we go. Right in the hook, and we'll see how well this is balanced. Check it out. That's pretty straight to me. Oh, that's pretty straight to me. So go ahead, give it a try. You could have said you can tie this one in a whole bunch of different colors, depending on the colors of ice dub you have. Green has done a good one. A white one with just the pearl ice dub has been another one that's worked really well for me. And able to catch lots of fish. Give it a try. Thanks.